Hello there! Starscream back for a Transform review, and Starscream can't seem to keep still either. He keeps rolling over. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Sorry for the absence of me. If anybody wanted to see a Transform review, been very, very busy. But I haven't forgotten, and this is going to be quite an interesting character. There's a lot to say about this one, so I'll crack on and stop mumbling. Right, Swindle. Now, I know he's part of the Combaticons, alright? So, no prizes for guessing that, and I know there's more than one of them. But I'm just purely going to focus on Swindle for the time being, if that's alright. A very, very small, insignificant-looking toy, but a very interesting character. Now, the whereabouts of where Swindle come from is quite simple, really. Starscream gets kicked out by the Decepticons, and he wants an army of his own. He steals some, renegade Decepticons from Cybertron, brings them back down to Earth, gets hold of some military vehicles, i.e. jeeps, jets, planes, helicopters. We know the story, don't we? Implants the brain into these guys, and we have Swindle. Swindle's not particularly pleased with the body he gets, by the way, as are all of them. They are very ticked off. I'm assuming they had some powerful Decepticon body and they get put into crap like this. Yeah, look, would you be happy looking like that? Where your arms pivot in the centre of your chest here? Look, most arms are attached on the shoulder. No, not these guys. No, not great. Now, this toy has been remoulded for Rid. Now, I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is meant to be Swindle in Rid, but if it is, I stand corrected, but I don't think so. I should have researched that guy, but you know what? I'm not interested because he's dropped his weapon, so I certainly ain't interested. These toys aren't great. Now, as we know, Swindle lives up to the name. He's a swindler. Most of the Decepticons are happy, you know, just to inflict havoc, destroy, crush, maim, kill, power struggle. This guy just wants to make a quick buck, and anything he can get over on the others. He'd probably sell his left arm if he thought he'd make a profit on it. And he's completely untrustworthy. Now, in one of the episodes, which is my favourite one, he steals the cog for Galvatron, or Metroplex's cog. And then he goes to Galvatron. Well, you know what, Galvatron? Well, the Decepticons, the Autobots would pay a pretty penny to have this port back, wouldn't they? You know what? I'm not going to give it to you. I think you should pay me. And if it's not paying as much as the Autobots would do to get it back, then I'm not going to sell it to you. Needless to say, Galvatron, as you know, is quite mad, and he doesn't take too kindly to this. I'm surprised he didn't kill him, but it is a cartoon show for kids, apparently. So it relatively rounds out his character. He's a swindler by name, swindler by nature, and even one of the episodes he sells the other Combaticons as well. That's hilarious. They get blasted and he sells them. And then Galvatron orders them to re-establish them. I want them back. They're a good fighting force. And he gets all but one of them. So when they try and merge together, it doesn't quite work. So you've got an idea of the character. I love Swindle as an individual character. I think he's brilliant. He puts the other Combaticons to shame. I mean, they're all quite intelligent Decepticons. But I would say he's probably a cut above the others. A little bit slicker than them. But I'm assuming that most of you lot have got this by now. And if you haven't, where have you been and what are you doing? But there are so many characters with the name Swindle, so we'll take a quick look at them, shall we? Right, now, he isn't actually named as Swindle. He's a recolour on eHobby's exclusive of Hound. No prizes for guessing that. But I think it's been fan-interpreted that this is Swindle. For the reason is, in what I can gather, is the Alternators, Hound, is recoloured into Swindle. So why not G1 into Swindle? And even if it isn't Swindle, but I think a lot of fans do assume that he is, he deserves to be, doesn't he? I like the G1 mould for Hound, and the fact is they've redone it for Swindle, I like too. So I'm not complaining. He's quite hard to come by now. I don't really need to dwell on the Hound toy, if that's alright. I may get his own review sometime later, but for the time being, we're focusing on Swindle. And speaking of Swindle and the Alternators, here it is. I don't actually like this toy at all, actually. I think it's quite pitiful. The arms are a bit short. The leg joints look odd. He has these bits protruding over here. His feet are unstable. The head is absolutely diabolical. I can't stand it. And it's dull, alright? The toy is just damn dull toy. Damn dull toy. No, it doesn't really go anywhere, does it? I'm sure there was a joke there somewhere, but I missed it. Sorry. The only thing I do like is he has suspension on his rear rear wheels and the front wheels sort of like pivot in a similar fashion. But to be honest with you, if you got the Hound one, it's exactly the same, and I don't like it in either form. But there we go. If you like Swindle, you've got to have the toys, haven't you? Right, now, this guy. I think this is... Bear with me 1 second. Right, just getting my facts straight. This is Cybertron Swindle. It's not a bad toy, actually. It's a recolour of an Autobot, by the way. But I'm not going to talk about the Autobot, I'm talking about the Decepticon Swindle. I actually like the toy. It doesn't actually, unfortunately, make an appearance in the show, which is really disappointing. But to be honest with you, judging by the atrocious nature of that show, they've probably done the guy a favour, actually. And as it is, I like the toy as an Autobot, and as a Decepticon, I like it even better. And carrying the namesake of Swindle, you can't go wrong, can you? Transforms into something like Beachcomb. Looks like a beach buggy to me, but I might be wrong, and probably am. But I like the toy, and because of the moulding, actually, isn't too bad for Swindle. And the toy, as it is posable for a little toy. He's got a lot of joints on him. He can do this. I mean, he can do a dance, do the splits. Don't recommend doing that, to be honest with you. But as a toy, if you can look out for this one, the Swindle variant of it anyway, do yourself a favour and get it. Alright? Now, who have we got left? Movie Swindle. Yes, I know he's not in the movie. He's a drone, isn't he? Well, apparently there is a Decepticon Swindle that ties into the movie, and the others are just clones or drones of that one. You know, take it like a Seeker Jet. Just clones of themselves in the animated show. Well, apparently he's a good fighter. It doesn't actually go too much into the character development of this guy, purely on the basis that he has none. He looks like Shockwave, but he hasn't even got a bloody head. Look, what has he got? What is that? Yes, he's got a telescope for a head. I mean, come on, look, you've got a great scope. Hasbro, you can do anything you want. You're creating characters out of nothing here. You have full reign and full scope. And what's the best you can come up with? Yes, my friends, no head. It looks like a headlight then. Maybe a headlight, a rear view mirror, or just a waste of space. The actual toy itself is kind of nice, and it goes into a great vehicle mode. Other than the fact, it has no... It's like a GoBot, isn't it? It hasn't got a head. So we'll call this GoBot Swindle, because I can't think of anything else to call it. Can I recommend it? If you like the car mode, it's great. And I suppose you could respray it and put another head on it and make it a completely new character. But failing that, it's rubbish. Now, get to the one that I really wanted to talk about, or at least show. Animated Swindle. What a great guy. He comes to Earth in the show by his own initiative. He's not actually working for the Decepticons at that time. Obviously, he ends up with them, but, sorry. Yes, he comes down and he starts boasting around to, well, the Autobots and Decepticons in general about how many people he swindled, the Quintessons, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't actually come down to help the Autobots or the Decepticons. He comes down to work with, and I've written up here, the Society of Ultimate Villainy. Now, this was very good. It's a bunch of useless twats who decide that they're going to take on, well, the Earth in general, and he tries to start swindling them around, and the story comes and goes, and eventually he's got this weapon and it backfires and he gets stuck in vehicle mode. The police take him away and threaten to sell him off as parts, but by the end of the latest season, he's kidnapped and taken, not kidnapped, how can he be kidnapped? He's taken by the Autobots, captured, and taken back to Cybertron to stand trial, I can only assume. And I love the toy. I love the character. He's very reminiscent of Mr. G1 down here. So they're practically inseparable. Inseparable? Look, if I'm going to at least try and use these words, you should at least pronounce them. Inseparable as regards character. There. Don't I feel clever now? No, I don't actually. Right, okay, let's have a quick look at the toy. I really like it. I like the head moulding. Look at that smug little sod. It's brilliant. Not so sure about the fusion cannon on his arm, and I'm not overly impressed by the hands, which are like this all the time. It's like he's got some sort of disability or bone degenerating disease with his hands, you know. But other than that, I really like the guy. I like the vehicle mode, I like the toy, and I like the character. And for you lot who don't have this one yet, aha, I do, so tough. Nah, it's alright. You guys look out for this one. I've seen him in a few toy shops in the UK at the moment. I don't know how hard he is from where you lot are, but he wasn't too hard for me to get hold of, so you've got no excuse really, have you? Get hold of this toy if you can. I really like it, and the transformation is very neat, actually. Right, that's just me. A quick look at the Swindle. Yeah, the Swindle is, yeah, there's always one of them. Swindle the character, Swindle the toys, and for a bonus, just for a second, I've got hold of the movie RC, and you know the head moulding is grotesque, isn't it? I've done a remoulding of the head, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to recolour it in G1 colours myself. I mean, it's up to you what you lot want to do if you've got one of these, but I think that looks much better, doesn't it? Much better than that hideous head that she had before. Damn, that thing was ugly. And I might resculpture the body a little bit, but failing that, this looks a lot better. Right, okay guys, that's just a quick review of Swindle, even though it's probably gone on for far too long. Take care, you guys, and see you all out there.